Buddy, this is a recorded interview for Mr. Angel Aguilera. My name is Miguel Garzon, and I'm here to answer him some questions about language and dialects. So the first question is, what is the difference between a dialect and a language? Well, a language it's mainly the code in which certain people, codify their messages to transmit to other people. Okay, when we're talking about a code, we talk about pronunciation, we talk about words used, definitions, while dialect, it only refers to the way to pronounce or reproduce the same language. For example, a language would be English, a dialect will be American or British. Another example would be Spanish. For example, Catalan in Spain and Valenciano. Those are dialects. Both populations speak the same language, which is Spanish, but the way they pronounce it, the way they express themselves is a little bit different. So that will be the main difference about a language and a dialect. So the second one, what is morphology, or what do I understand by morphology? Morphology is, for what I have studied, it's how words are composed, how they match a sentence, how are they correct put in a sentence, how we should use them, how they are properly used in a sentence, formation of words. Now syntax is not about grammatical stuff, it's more like about meaning. So we have to remember that a sentence might be grammatically correct, but if it doesn't have a sense, it's meaningless. So if it doesn't have a syntax, so it's like one of the most important parts in a sentence, the abstract part. What you try to communicate. It's not just simple words put in a sentence, but the meaning you're trying to give to someone. So a way in which languages vary from dialects. Well, I chose A in pronunciation, mainly because that's where dialects come from. It's not about sentence, it's not about grammar, it's not like, for example, British use the past perfect differently from Americans. No, it's the same language. The only thing that varies, or a couple things that varies, are the vocabulary and of course the pronunciation. So the language itself is intact, only pronunciation is a little bit different. And the next one, for an example, they asked me here to give an example. Like I already told you, British versus American English. Americans tend to use the R a lot. They use the tongue when pronouncing the R, a little bit different from British. They don't use the tongue a lot. I mean, for R, not really. They use more the throat for it. They use a lot of how can I say, they use the glottis a lot for certain words, especially the R. To give you guys an example, would be this phrase here. Martin has traveled all over the world. That would be American accent. Now I'm gonna try to imitate the British accent with the same sentence. Martin has traveled around the world. So as you can probably tell, it's a little bit different. We're not using the R a lot with the tongue, but more with the throat when I speak British English. So it's mainly about that. Of course, there are other differences that we will cover here. So what is the main reason for dialects to vary? I am giving here three options. The first one is geographical location. the second one, economic status, and the last one, educational status. Well, I have studied. Actually, I'm getting my license degree in foreign language, English, of course. And for what I have studied about the dialects, how they vary, why they vary, there are many reasons for it. First of all, they have taught me that is the first one, which is geographical location. As you can probably tell, language varies from places to places. For instance, from the United States and from England, or from Valencia. Okay, people don't speak the same in Valencia than in Madrid, so it's very different. Okay, or Ecuadorians here wouldn't talk the same language as Argentinian people. Okay, their ancestors are Italian people, so they speak a little bit different than us. Okay, we were colonized by Spanish people. Okay, by Spain people. So it's a little bit different. We both speak the same language, but it's quite different. So location plays a very important role here, but it's not the only thing. Also, educational status, and we can mostly see that inside our country or even our city. If you guys are Ecuadorians, okay, people from Guayaquil, if you're watching this, you can, of course, notice this when you go to, for example, San Borondon. People with a lot of resources, okay, rich people, you may call them, speak a little bit different than people that do not have a lot of money. You're not gonna find the same dialect from someone who lives in San Borondon, in the rich part, of course, of San Borondon, than someone that lives in the suburbs, for example, El Guasmo, or I don't know, even further, or, well, you get what I mean, okay? So yeah, that influences a lot, okay? Exactly why, I'm not quite sure, but indeed it does, okay? And the second one, well, that's talking about economic status and educational status, of course. We as teachers know that education plays a very important part, a very important role in a student's way to see life, pronounce words. Okay, we speak our language not because we chose to do that, but because we were raised like that. So if you're raised, doesn't matter if you're American. If you're raised in China, you're gonna learn Japanese. Or it doesn't matter if you're American. If you're raised in England, you're gonna speak British. Well, with a British dialect. Okay, so where your education resides, it's how you're going to speak, pronounce, and of course, act. Okay, it's not only education is not only related to languages, to how they change, but also psychologically, behaviors and stuff. So if you ask me for the most common, I would say geographical, because geographical location changes a lot. I mean, it is like a group of many things, ideologies, okay, different people, different food, different education, all of that matters, and all of that influences in the way we talk. So I would say that would be the most common one from all the three. Okay. Well, the next one says examples of difference in American and British. For example, in pronunciation, well, I already stated. Okay, we use the R in different ways than Americans do. Of course, that is not the only attractive part or the most notable part. There are some other things in the language that that you may notice when you hear a British person talking or an American. Okay, the word I just said, okay, this is the way to pronounce it in American, but in British would be okay. Okay, it's like a more open, okay, vocal sound for them. Okay, it's almost like an OW. You know, of course, in phonetic transcription you may find it like that. Okay, but in American it's like, oh, okay, okay, like more quickly, more closed, not very open, not very exaggerated, you may say. Okay, so the next one is spelling. Well, spelling, if we talk about vocabulary, yeah, because in spelling very few words vary from American English and British English. One of the examples that I can remember right now, fortunately, is color. Yeah, the word color. In English, okay, it's just color. In British, will be color. I mean, it's pronounced in the same way, like color, color, but they're written in a slightly different way. For example, in British, you add an U. It's colour. Okay, you add a U right before the O, the second O, okay, and before the R. And in American, that extra word does not exist. Okay, that is actually one of the confusions that most students have, because in some places they see color, and in other texts they see color. It's pronounced the same, but it's written a little bit different, but it means the same actually. So that is about spelling. I can't remember right now other examples. About sentence formation, I haven't found, to be honest, any valid example, that changes from dialects. I mean, sentence are just, for me, I've always used the same ones for British or for American English. I've seen them both actually, and I haven't found any difference in sentence formation. Grammar, for me, it stays the same. I haven't seen any difference. However, I have seen vocabulary differences. For example, here, well, not here, in America, North America, United States, to be more specific, they say cookies. They call cookies, galletas, cookies, to that word that we know as galletas. But in England, they don't call it cookies. They call it biscuits. So yeah, they have a difference in vocabulary. Okay, and there are many other words that differ. Okay, all those words can be used in both dialects. Okay, cookie will be the same in American English or British English. They both will understand, but British are more accustomed or used to say biscuits rather than cookies. It's not like they don't recognize the word as official. They do recognize the word as official, but they don't use it. Okay? And another example of dialect variation, well, there's a theory. When I was studying linguistics, I was studying the theory of Worf, and they said that the language is not created by educated people. I mean, educated people don't make up language because they want to create it. Okay, language is created by needs, by the needs of the people that live in, of course, that zone. There was an example of some people that lived in very cold places. I don't quite recall right now the tribe, but the thing is that they had like 3 different words for snow. We only call it like that, snow. The icy stuff that fall from the sky when it's very freezing. Okay, it turns into it's white and it fills up the streets, and it usually happens in Christmas, and you can fight with ice snowballs and stuff like that. Well, that kind of snow, we only call it like that, snow. Period. There's not another word for it. But the theory of Worf states that language is created by necessity. In that tribe that I was telling you about, they had 3 different words for snow because they needed those words to classify the type of snow according to their needs. Remember that they lived there, so they may have found like 3 different types or status of water, snow, in which they could cross, they could walk. Another type of snow that in which it was, I don't know, maybe too wet or or very difficult to cross. Okay, I don't know the details about it, but they classify snow in that way because of their needs, because they needed to say, okay, that is snow number 1, that is snow number 2, and snow number 3, because this one is for works for this one is a little bit different because we cannot cross, or we have to beware about not slipping and stuff like that. And the other one, I don't know, is more or will disappear, more quickly than other types of snow. It's about necessity, okay? And I think that is the only last variation that I can find about dialects. They still had the same languages as other tribes, but they differed on that little part of vocabulary because they needed to, okay? So that is everything I can share with you guys for now. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the interview, and thank you all for watching.